Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bone, and thank you all for joining me. What I want to talk about in this video is a pretty harrowing situation that happened in Florida. And a homeless man went to a tent in a homeless encampment, doused it with perhaps gasoline or some inflammable liquid, and set it ablaze with someone in it. Yeah, you heard that. This is just totally insane. We're going to get right into this article because I want to raise some questions that perhaps you guys may have some answers to. Okay. But we're going to get right into this article here because this is really, really crazy and sad at the same time. But this just goes to show you, you can't trust everyone, regardless of their economical status or whatever. You just can't assume because they're homeless that they're innocent and whatever. But we'll get into that. An article starts off: a homeless Florida man is charged with first-degree arson after allegedly setting fire to a tent at a homeless encampment with a person inside of it. Witnesses in nearby tents heard the victim scream out for help and then saw his tent engulfed with flames on May 28th, Click Orlando reported. Now that's crazy, May 28th. It was been that long. The Orlando Fire Department responded to the scene at 3:45 p.m. and the victim was transported to the hospital suffering burns on his arms and legs. You can't help but wonder what actually provoked this homeless man to set fire to this person's tent. What provoked him? Did they have an argument in the past? Was there some beef they had? Who knows? The victim told authorities that he heard someone say, "Knock, knock." And he watched as suspect Reginald DeMarcus Williams, known as Marco, poured something on his tent and lit a match. Wow. Witnesses interviewed said they had heard the victim scream out Marco before they saw the flames. An accelerant detective K9 inspected the tent and quote, demonstrated an alert on the carpet that the tent was sitting on, specifically where the carpet and tent were melted together. Authorities then pulled surveillance footage from Chevron nearby to the encampment. Footage showed a man matching Williams' description go inside the gas station with a red gas can. He then walks, so this is premeditated. He then walks to the gas pump and then out of the woods towards the camp. Police say there is probable cause Williams set the man's tent on fire. You think? Homeless encampment. Now, here's the part that's interesting and quite disturbing. Homeless encampments have been increasing eyesores and safety concerns for cities across the country. And we're having this problem here in the city of Cleveland. Since 2016, chronic homelessness has risen by 65%, U.S. News reported. In March, Congressman Darren Seto of Florida, representing Orlando, announced that the city received more than $9.5 million to provide new and rehabilitated affordable housing and to assist the homeless. Cities across the country are working every day to address the tough issues of homelessness, housing affordability, and building livable neighborhoods for all, said Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer. Support from the federal government is essential to our efforts. That part always brings nefarious thoughts to my mind, because the federal government would love to help. Okay. Florida has the third highest homeless population with over 25,000 counted in 2022. And that's the end of that article right there. But this is very unfortunate. And I'm glad that the individual that was in this tent did not die. Okay. It wasn't lethal, but obviously they suffered some injuries. But this is very unfortunate and it's very crazy. And like I said, when we think about the homeless in general, we tend to feel bad for them because after all, it could be any of us, right? It could be me, it could be you, it could be any of us. And we are to be compassionate upon people that are homeless, okay? I was considered homeless at one point. Some people considered, me getting evicted and sleeping at my job for a day or two was considered to be homeless. Okay, if you consider that to be homeless, so be it. All right, whatever the case may be. But Homelessness is all around us. We know that. And when we think about people that are homeless, we should show compassion and caring and love towards people who are without. But I have to ask this fundamental question. The article points this out, that homelessness is rising all over the country. It's on the increase. Where are these homeless people coming from? What's causing these people to be homeless? Because a lot of these people that are homeless, particularly, I'm making the reference to just my situation where I work at, downtown Cleveland. A lot of these people that are homeless, they look disheveled. They look sickly, torn, emaciated. They look terrible. So it doesn't look like something that just happened. It looks like they've been in this condition of homelessness for long periods of time. And what exactly has happened to this individual or these individuals that's what I've always wondered, that have led them to become homeless to the point, and not just become homeless, but like, okay, that's it, forget it. This is my lot in life. I'm not going to try to do anything to get out of this homelessness. You know, what, they don't have family members to go to? What's going on? The government is more than willing to help any of these people. But yet it seems like a lot of them don't want this help. And I know that from a personal perspective, that a lot of the homeless people that I deal with, and I'm just talking about my own personal situation. So this is clearly subjective. Don't want help in the sense that they want to become, get a home and have a nice place and no longer be homeless. It's like they've settled in their mind that they're homeless, and all they need is for you to give them a handout for the day, and they cool. So the next day come around, they're looking for you to give them another handout. Next day come around, they're looking for you to give them another handout. And it's like, well, when are you going to get to a point where you say, wait a minute, I need to get myself up? And what? This is crazy. And like I said, where are all these homeless people coming from? Why is it an increase in homelessness? Because when we have these homeless, but when we have this increase in homelessness all over the country, like the article says, this puts the government, the federal government, in a position to take more control over people's lives. Now, I'm not saying that this is some type of a conspiracy that, okay, the government is doing certain things that's pushing people into homelessness. I don't know. But I find it odd that these city officials would want to look to the federal government to give them money to address homelessness in their city and in their state. You don't have any money to deal with that? You got to constantly go to the federal government? The federal government doesn't care a flying flip about homeless people. They want control. That's all they want. And the more control you give them, the better they feel, because they're all about control. Now, I'm not saying everybody in the government, in the federal government, is like that. I'm pretty sure there's some pure-hearted people in the federal government, but there's few and far in between. Okay? I find it odd that this would be the case. And another thing I wanted to point out too is, and this is not a question, because I've just posed this question to you guys as to where are all these homeless people coming from and why is there an increase in homelessness? Is it the economy? Is that what it is? Is it merely the economy? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But getting back to the other thing, a point I wanted to make is oftentimes we think in general that homeless people, they're mentally ill or they're poor, they don't have, they're this, and we feel bad for them. But a lot of these homeless people have the ability to do physical harm to not only other people that may be homeless, but also to you, to me. We can't assume that because the person is homeless that they're harmless. Now, even though this homeless man here tried to sent in a homeless encampment with someone that seems to indicate to me that he knew that was also homeless, hey, there has been reports of homeless people, if you want to call them that, attacking regular people. I've had that incident happen quite often where I work at a Tower City. There was incidences where we've had one particular guy, and I'm not going to name him, I'm not going to put his name out here, But he's been in jail from what I understand. Either he's in jail or he's dead. One of the two. I don't know. We haven't seen him in months. Okay. He decides to go down on the first level of Tower City and block. Oh, this is during the third shift post for this is between 12 midnight and 8 in the morning. I think it happened around 3 o'clock that morning from what I was told by my supervisor. He goes down there and he blocks a woman and her child from leaving the bathroom. He literally stood in the way of the bathroom door so she couldn't get out with her child at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning inside Tower City. He's blocking her and her child from getting out and would not allow her to get out unless she gave him money. The woman was terrified. If there was no security officers down there patrolling, who was to say what he would have done? And this is not the first incident. We've had situations where some homeless people have assaulted supervisors. I shared that in previous videos. So you can't assume because a person is homeless that they're not going to do you bodily harm. Because they have. There was one particular homeless guy, not going to say his name here. I haven't been seeing him, but he's homeless. He walks the streets. One of the police officers that we liaison with at Tower City shared a story with me that he ended up going to jail, although they let him out in no time. Of course, you got liberal judges and liberal DAs that feel sorry for them. But you let him out, and what did he do? Well, he decided to get on a bus, right? He didn't have bus fare. The bus driver said you have to have bus fare. He got mad, got on the bus, and forcefully grabbed the steering wheel and was trying to force the steering wheel out of the bus driver's hand. But he's homeless. Feel sorry for him, feel bad, right? No, I don't. Because this guy that did this is not mentally incompetent. He plays that role. Now, whatever led to his homelessness, I don't know. I can't make that judgment call. But he clearly, what he did, he knew he was wrong. He was conscious of it. So just because these people are homeless don't mean that they can't do you harm, and doesn't mean that they don't know the difference between right or wrong. A lot of them do. They just do it because they're taking advantage of the system, and they know they can do it and get away with it. Now, is that the same scenario with this guy here? I don't know. It didn't say anything about his psychological makeup, so I don't know. But all I'm saying is we have to be careful. We can't make assumptions on either side. And that's what I wanted to say. But what do you guys think about this? This is crazy. This is madness. And I'm praying and hoping that eventually this homelessness situation will be settled somehow, some way. But what do you guys think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all and see you again.